Hi dear friends, welcome to another video on what the Bible say. In this video, we'll be looking at Bible verses about sin. Please take the time out to watch this video till the end to discover what the Bible say about sin. Let's look at what the Bible said. What is sin? Let's look at what the Bible say about sin. The biblical definition of sin is to purposefully disobey the rules of God, doing the opposite of what God instructs us to do, breaking God's law. 1 John 3 and verse 4 tells us, everyone who sins breaks the law. In fact, sin is lawlessness. The origin of sin. Let's look at what the Bible said about where sin came from. Through the Bible, we learn about the conception of sin in heaven. The sin that corrupted Lucifer, an angel in heaven, was self-generated pride. This was actually the beginning of sin, which would plague the universe. Sin originated in the free will of Lucifer, in which, with the full understanding of the issue involved, still he chose to rebel against God. Let's look at what the Bible say about Satan's sinful thoughts. Isaiah 14 verse 12 to 14. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. This is referring to Lucifer, known as Satan. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once lay low nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend the heavens, I will rise my throne above the stars of God. This is referring to Lucifer. In his heart, he was saying, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High, referring to God. So here we see sin was conceived in his heart. Satan and the angels which followed him rebelled against God and was judged by God. Let's look at the earthly origin of sin. Now, Satan and his followers were cast out of heaven as a result of their sin. They rebelled against God and they were cast out of heaven. Revelation 12 verse 9 helps us to understand what happened. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. After Satan sinned in heaven and was cast out of heaven, they were cast to the earth. Now sin began in the earth when Adam and Eve disobeyed God by eating of the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You can read Genesis 3 to see what the Bible say about the conception of sin in the earth. When Satan was cast out of heaven, while he was on the earth, he tempted Adam and Eve to sin against God. The sin of Adam and Eve was the first sin that happened in the earth, whereas mankind are concerned. Now, God has commanded us to follow his moral laws, which can be found in the Bible. And he has given to everyone a conscience for intuitively knowing right from wrong. If we chose to do the opposite of what God tells us to do, it's a sin. If we do that which we know is wrong, it's a sin. God's moral laws are condensed into the 10 Commandments found in Exodus 20. These laws are not meant to place restrictions on our lives, but are there for our protection and a guide to help prevent us from sinning against God. Here's a summary of the 10 Commandments. Do not have any other God before God. If you do so, it's a sin. Do not make yourself an idol. Do not take the Lord's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your mother and father. If you dishonor your mother and your father, it's a sin. Do not kill. It's a sin if you kill someone, if you commit murder, I should say. I do understand that there might be acts of self-defense or an accident or something like that. But if you commit murder, it's a sin because the Bible said, do not kill. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Stealing is a sin. Do not lie on your neighbor. Lying is a sin. Do not covet other people's stuff. That's a sin. So these are God's laws, which he has given to us, moral laws that we should live by. And if we do the opposite of what God has commanded us to do, then that's a sin. If we do the opposite of what God has instructed us to do, then that's a sin. If you know God's will and choose not to do it, it's a sin. We read in Luke 12 and verse 47, and that servant who knew his Lord's will and made not ready, nor did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. Romans 14 and verse 23 tells us, and if you do anything that you believe is not right, it is sin. Again, we read in James 4 and verse 17, to the one who knows the right thing to do and does not do it, to him it is sin. Is there an unforgivable sin? Yes. According to the Bible, there is one sin a person can do for which there is no forgiveness for either in this age or in the age to come. That is the sin of blaspheming against the Holy Spirit. Mark 3 verse 28 to 29 help us to understand, assuredly I say to you, all sins will be forgiven the sons of men, and whatever blasphemies they may utter. But he who blasphemes against the Holy Spirit never has forgiveness, but is subject to eternal condemnation. So here we understand that all sins that we can ever commit, they are forgivable. But there is one sin that we can commit that we will never receive forgiveness for in this life or in the next. Our next video, we're going to be looking at the unforgivable sin, what that sin is. So stay tuned for the next video. Be on the lookout for our next video. Thanks for watching what the Bible said about sin and Bible verses about sin. Please click on the red button below to subscribe to this channel. please leave your comments below with your prayer requests. And please like and share this video. And as I've said before, be on the lookout for our next video, what the Bible said about the unforgivable sin. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and our riddle video will be coming up next. What the Bible said about sin. Bible verses about sin.